you're gonna disagree, tell me why. That's all I ask. You can disagree, but man, what is going on? It's Birds in the Trap MMA, and I'm back with another banger. However, this is not much of a banger. This is a prediction video, okay? Prediction videos, especially for fight nights, they kill the channel, they kill the views. However, I'm doing this anyway because I need to get a video out, and I like getting the picks out there. You know, I'm keeping track of my prediction rate this year. I haven't added it up yet, but all my picks for every card are on my Instagram, which you should follow. I'm going to put it on the screen right now. Okay, go ahead and do that. But for the Apex Fight Nights, man, I just don't feel passionate enough to make a damn video, right? So I just put it on the Instagram. However, we have a good card, okay? There's a crowd, which is a big benefit that I'm going to be talking about in my picks. And overall, let's just get right into this, okay? We're starting off the fight night with Erick Silva versus Muhammad Naimov, okay? I'm going with Naimov to win this fight. Do I think he's the best? No, he hasn't had many fights, but I just can't really trust Erick Silva to get this one done. I have the stats pulled up here. Coming off of a submission loss to TJ Brown, hasn't fought in over a year. You look at Naimov on the other hand, and this isn't necessarily a battle of the records, but this is just common sense here, guys. I feel like there are some picks on this card that are universally shared by the MMA community, and I think that this is one of them. KO win over Jamie Mullarkey, decision win over Nathaniel Wood. That fight sucked in my opinion. I don't think he looked great because of how much he was cheating. Naimov is a little cheater, all right? Everyone gets one cheat, and I can guarantee you he's going to cheat in this fight. Eye poke, cage grab, nut shot, all of the above will be attempted. But you got to do what you got to do, right? So it is what it is. I'm picking Naimov to win this fight. He showed good power in the Mullarkey fight, but he also showed a hole in his game, which is that straight shots can get to him, right? Nathaniel Wood rocked him, and in my opinion, kind of blew the finish. I think he could have finished Naimov, but I don't think Erick Silva is as good as Nathaniel Wood. So I'm going with Naimov to win this fight by a finish in the second round. I'm going to go second round. First one's going to be feeling out process, and then Naimov is going to realize he's better. But, you know, if Erick Silva wins this fight, it's likely going to be by putting the jab on him, or he'd finish him with a straight shot. Something that's hidden well. You know what I mean? A jab to left, something like that. A feint, then a straight shot would put Naimov out. However, like I said, I don't think Silva is smart enough to do it. So I'm going with Naimov there. Round 2 finish. This fight. I'm very interested in this fight. Victor Altamirano versus Felipe Dos Santos. Another one where I feel like the picks are quite universal. They are damn near exactly the same on stats. So if we're going off of the fights, Felipe Dos Santos, man, he had a great fight with Manel Kape. Obviously, I think that was everyone's first introduction to him. And that was a close fight. Don't get me wrong. I think Manel Kape, yeah, it was a 29-28, 30-27 on one card. But that wasn't like a washout. You look at the stats, they were close. But Kape just kind of won by doing that much more. It wasn't a washout, you know what I mean? Felipe Dos Santos was right there, and you know, he was winning a lot of exchanges. It was a very good fight. Victor Altamirano, on the other hand, I don't like if you're losing to Tim Elliott. Okay, I think at this certain point, I think Felipe Dos Santos has a pretty good chance to beat Tim Elliott. So I'm going with Dos Santos there, and I think it's going to be a decision just because it is in the flyweight division. They aren't the most powerful guys. 7-1 versus 12-3. Like I said, it's not the battle of the record, but the one loss on Felipe Dos Santos' record is not that bad. It's a pretty good loss to have. So, yeah, I'm going Dos Santos by decision there. All right, Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Dennis Bondar. If I'm not mistaken, which I am not mistaken, I just checked, both of these guys are winless in the UFC, okay? Dennis Bondar, coming off of two losses. This guy's I'm kind of stumbling over myself here, guys. Let me make things clear. Ronaldo Rodriguez, why the fuck is he in this fight? Okay, one loss on the Contender Series almost 4 years ago. Now, with that being said, I do have the Tapology open for him. Tapology is a better website because you see stuff outside of the UFC. And yes, he is on a 5-fight win streak, which is very impressive. Quite a few finishes. But with that being said, I don't think he necessarily deserves to be in the UFC. He could prove me wrong here. If I were Dana, I would put him on the Contender Series, the next season coming up. And, you know, you look at Bondar, winless in the UFC, lost by TKO to Malcolm Gordon. I do not like that look for you. So I'm going to be going with Ronaldo Rodriguez. And this is one thing that I do think is very important to mention on this card. It's in Mexico, right? I'm sure you guys have heard. And I think there is a pretty good chance Mexico can sweep it because of the energy they bring. You know, a lot of Mexicans, they're going to be praying to Jesus. They're going to be getting their energy from the crowd. And it might give them more power, you know? These are flyweight fights, but it might just give them enough to win. And there's quite a few flyweight fights on this. But with that being said, guys, I'm going with Ronaldo Rodriguez. More momentum behind him. Sure, he hasn't fought in the UFC before, but Denise Bondar is used to losing. So I'm going to be going with the Mexican. Ronaldo Rodriguez, home court advantage. He'll have the crowd behind him. And probably has some more confidence. Has probably learned a lot from his decision loss on the Contender Series. Alright, moving up on the card. Claudio Puelles. Oh boy. Claudio Puelles, man. I fucking hate Claudio Puelles. And I'm sure a lot of you guys do as well, because he left a really bad taste in everyone's mouth when he fought Dan Hooker. Okay? 5 significant strikes, 1 submission attempted. And if I'm not mistaken, man, this motherfucker was on the main card over Moicano. Ridiculous. But as much as we may not like him, Dan Hooker, that was a ranked guy at the time. Was he coming off of some losses? Yes. But that's a ranked guy, and he just kind of got outskilled. He kind of got proven to be one-dimensional. But he, as you guys just saw, he was on a win streak before that. You know what I mean? And he finished 3 of these fights by knee bar. It's no doubt he has a good ground game. It just doesn't work on everybody. Whereas Fares Ziam, he also hasn't really impressed me, right? Decision over Jai Herbert, lost to Terrence McKinney. I don't like that if you're losing to McKinney. Majority decision over Luigi Vendramini. Come on, man. Come on, man. Fares Ziam. I'm going with Claudio Puelles to win this fight, and I think he will get the submission win, not because he's some god on the ground, but because he's better than Ziam, okay? He's fighting out of Peru. Ziam is fighting out of France, so if I were to guess who the crowd is more likely to get behind, I would guess Peru, right? But crowd advantage or not, Puelles should win this fight. I think it's pretty clear. Alright, moving up on the card, the most unnecessary fight in UFC history. This fight happened, it was booked again, it was canceled, and now we're here again. Is it a ridiculous fight? Yes. Is it a funny storyline though? Yeah, it's pretty funny. I don't mind it. Holy shit, man. 5 flyweight fights on this card. God damn. That's a lot. But anyways, Edgar Chairez, winless in the UFC. Same thing can be said with Daniel Lacerda. But who won their last fight? I think Chairez won that fight. And I think that Lacerda just did enough to make it a no contest. Alright, he was getting submitted. He went limp. And listen, all I'm saying, this is what I'll say, man, about this fight. If who the fuck lost it? If the fight was stopped and Lacerda just sat there and like gave up defeat, no one would have said a thing. But since it was a weird enough stoppage, he was able to kind of make it sketchy and make it seem like the ref messed up. I don't think the ref messed up. I think he messed up. I think he didn't show signs. He was getting submitted, man. What do you want me to say? So, with that being said, I can't see this one going too differently. Daniel Lacerda, literally winless in the UFC, 4 loss streak, 1 no contest. and he's getting another fight. He should be cut after this, I believe. But Cyrus is going to win this fight. I don't know if it'll be a submission again necessarily, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear to me. Cyrus should win this fight. He won their last fight. It shouldn't have been a no contest. That's the pick. Would I go with a submission again? Let's go with a submission again. Let's make it interesting. Yeah, man, just to reiterate myself, I just watched this fight again. I can't show the fight because I'd get copywritten, but Cyrus is winning this. Won the last one. All right, Jesus Aguilar versus Mateus Mendonça. All right, I feel like I've seen a lot of people going with Mendonça, and I think I picked Mendonça to win his last fight, and he had an awful fight against Nate Maness. Not an awful fight. Let me not say that. Horrible showing, okay? Got 3 strikes off, got TKO'd in the first round. Not a good look. He's also lost to Javid Basharat. Not a bad loss. Not a bad loss. I'm not saying that like it's a bad loss, but he did lose, okay? Jesus Aguilar, on the other hand, is coming off of a win over Shannon Ross. Dude. Let's look at Shannon Ross's record. Everyone's TKO'd this fucking guy, okay? So I don't think that is super impressive. I'm not going to be looking too much into that win, although it was very quick, 17 seconds. He lost by submission to Tyra. Understandable. Have a nice day. But man, I don't like his reach. I'm a 9-inch reach disadvantage. Aguilar is a tiny guy. I believe he has the shortest reach in the UFC. Come on now, okay? It comes down to this. Is Mendonça going to hit him? Yes. Is he going to be able to keep the range on him? Yes. Now, with that being said, Aguilar, like I said, he does have the home crowd advantage. I'm sure they're going to be in the back praying. And, but I'm picking Mendonça to win this fight by decision. I think he's just going to play it safe majority of the time because Aguilar does have power. He does have one-hitter quitter. Again, it was against Shannon Ross, but objectively, let's just look at that fight, okay? I think Mendonça's going to play it safe, keep the jab on him, keep the kicks on him. He does have the leg reach advantage as well. He has every advantage in the book, all right? So I'm picking Mendonça to win that fight by playing at range, okay? Now, Christian Quinones versus Ronnie Barcelos. I feel for Ronnie Barcelos, man. I really want him to win this fight, and I'm picking him to win this fight, okay? Obviously, he's lost 4 out of his last 5. His 1 decision win against Trevin Jones hasn't aged the best. That guy is not in the UFC anymore. But, you know, the only time he got finished was against Umar Nurmagomedov. And it was a pretty bad finish, to be fair. But, you know, he just lost a decision to Kyler Phillips. Hey, it's all good. Kyler Phillips about to lose to Pedro Munoz, right? So, Christian Quinones just hasn't impressed me that much. He hasn't fought. He fought kind of recently, my bad. 1 win in the UFC, 1 loss, but I feel like I'm doing too much of comparing the records, but the records are a great thing to look at, guys. I know styles make fights, but Barcelos is going to be bigger in there, as in more dense, okay? Quinones does have every advantage in the book, but, I mean, look at these two. We're doing a physique battle, guys. Look at these guys' physiques. Quinones looks like he looks like he's in the wrong weight class. Flabby, doesn't look like he'd hit that hard. Barcelos, on the other hand, he has the experience, has power, is a dense guy, very hard to take down. So I'm going with Barcelos in that fight to win pretty easily. I do think he could get a finish. However, he's also not finishing Trevin Jones. Not the best look. But yeah, Barcelos should win that fight. I'm going to go with the decision. Alright, moving up on the main card. I really like this main card. I'm excited for this main card. Manuel Torres versus Chris Duncan. Okay. Alright, both of these guys are on winning streaks in the UFC. However, Manuel Torres, they've all been finished, guys. Look at these. Okay. 3 wins, 1 on the Contender Series, 2 wins in the UFC, both by finish, both performance of the night bonuses. The finish over Nicolas Mata was brutal. Beautiful elbow. That was a great finish to watch. Whereas you look at Chris Duncan, you know, 2 wins in the UFC, split decision, unanimous decision. Got a TKO on the Contender Series, fair enough. I think he might be a little soy. All right, I think I think he may be a little soy. I think his power is just not exactly going to be there compared to Manuel Torres, who has the power advantage. He has the home crowd with him. Both guys are skilled. This is a good fight. This one deserves to be on the main card, but I do think that I will be going with Manuel Torres to win this fight. I think he will face some adversity because I do think this is the best guy he's ever fought, but I'm going with a second round finish and probably a TKO. Yeah, I don't even want to say submission. It's probably going to be a TKO. All right, moving up on the card, Yasmin Jarguchi. Fuck, man. Cut that. All right. Moving up on the card, Yasmin Jarguchi. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Versus Sam Hughes. Another easy fight to pick in my opinion. I think that the odds reflect this pretty well. I will be picking Yasmin to win this fight. You know, she did get finished in her last fight pretty badly against Denise Gomes. But before that, 2 wins in the UFC, 1 finish. Not bad. Not bad for a women's, strawweight fighter to get a finish. I like that. Again, has the home court advantage. I think, like I said, that is going to be a big factor on this card. So, I think I'm going with Yasmin to just show levels, right? Sam Hughes, not the most impressive UFC career. Started off on 3 losses. Has bounced back, but Yasmin's going to win this fight, guys. As simple as that. Let's move up on the card. Oh, God. Sorry. I didn't mean to jump scare you guys. All right. I meant to click on this. Okay, let's talk about... Yo, look at this picture of Turcios, man. Anyways, Raul Rosas Jr. versus Ricky Turcios. The UFC is handling Rosas' career very well. They're giving him good competition that he should be able to beat. Of course, he lost to Christian Rodriguez. Hey, he won the first round, and Rodriguez did miss weight. And, you know, if he were to just win one other round, he would have won. But I think that that's a loss where he's going to learn a lot from it. He obviously blew the gas tank in the first round going for a finish. Couldn't get it. Gassed out. Still went to a decision. But I think that that's just a fight where if you're 18 and you have that type of fight, you're obviously going to learn from that. You know what I mean? I'm sure he's been working on it. All right, he's coming off of a very impressive finish over Terrence Mitchell. Now, don't get me wrong, Terrence Mitchell is not the best opponent, but he did finish him in under a minute with punches. He showed great power. He showed the best power he ever has, okay? That was his first knockdown in his UFC career. So, yeah, I think Rosas Jr. is going to get this one done. Turcios has not fought in a while. Let's pull it up. Has not fought since November 2022. He's 2-1 in the UFC, not bad. All decisions. Rosas has shown to be a finisher, right? He can knock you out. He can submit you. So I will be going with Raul Rosas Jr. to win this fight. I think he's going to be a lot more composed. I think his cardio is going to be fixed. I think he will have the power advantage. I just think he's going to have every advantage, man. And he's got the home court advantage. What do I keep saying, man? Rosas Jr. is going to win this fight. Probably a second round submission. I've seen a lot of people go with that. I think I'm going to ride that wave. He's going to go crazy after he wins. The crowd's going to go crazy. It'll be cool to see. So, yeah, Rosas Jr. is going to win that fight, in my opinion. I would be surprised if he didn't. Like I said, a lot of these fights on this card, I feel like they're pretty clear to pick. I would be surprised if my picks are wrong. Am I expecting to sweep the card? No, obviously anything can happen. I've actually never swept a card. Jesus fucking Christ. But, nonetheless, yeah, I mean, what is there to really say, man? Rosas Jr. is going to win that fight. Alright, moving up on the card. Daniel Zellhuber versus Francisco Prado. This is a fight where I think Daniel Zellhuber is going to win. Okay, I think he's fought better guys. Alright, let's look at the records. I'm not doing this to pick, I'm not showing the records to justify my picks. Well, I am. I'm not doing it to base my picks off of the record, though. I'm showing this for you guys. You know what I mean? I've been thinking about this card a lot, so my picks are locked in. But I want to show you guys what my train of thought is. So that's why I keep pulling up the records. I don't like that you lost to Trey Ogden. Okay, I don't think Trey Ogden is all that good. he's coming off of a finish over Ottoman Azaitar. A lot of guys have finished as Azaitar. If I could get the fucking record pulled up. Okay, not a lot of guys. My bad. Only 2 guys. But nonetheless, I am going to be going with Zellhuber to win this fight. I don't think... Oh, the odds aren't on here. Who the fuck is the underdog? I'm pretty sure Prado is the underdog. I think that's what I saw on DraftKings. You know what I mean? I was putting my parlay together for fun, just to see what I would make. I'm not old enough to fucking bet yet. Or I am old enough, but... I live in Las Vegas. Can you believe that I can't place the bets? I have to go to the casino and get it activated. Annoying, whatever. Prado is not a bad underdog here. But I do think Zellhuber is going to win. Home court advantage. Height, reach, and leg reach advantage. Zellhuber is going to win that fight. Now, hey, I'm not going to lie, man. Prado has a bit of a crimson chin on him. He's got that Drew Dober look. I bet you in 5 years he's going to look like Drew Dober. But yeah, I'm going to pick Zellhuber to win that fight. Do I think it'll be a finish, though? I don't think so. I don't think he has a knockdown in his career. Let me pull it up just to double check that. Oh, he does have a knockdown against Lando Venata, which is a very experienced opponent. That is a good win to have. That guy's been in there with a ton of good guys. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to pick Zellhuber by decision. Okay? Yeah, it is what it is. Zellhuber decision. Remember that. Moving up to the big 2 fights that I actually care about. Not saying, look, I watch every fight, every card, but we all know these are the fights that matter. Look at Ortega, man. He doing that look. He's trying to get Cortez back, man. But Yair's going to win this fight. Yair's going to stop Brian Ortega. In my opinion, Yair won the last fight. He put him in an armbar, and the fight was stopped. That's a submission to me. Sure, there wasn't a tap. Sure, it was an injury. But I will say, I rewatched that last fight. Brian Ortega, he's fat. He's a little fast. Right? I know his title fights haven't gone well, but outside of those, I don't think Ortega's that bad, man. I know a lot of people dog on him because, you know, he's still in the top 5 and Brian Ortega, his last win, Khabib was in the UFC. Khabib hadn't fought Gaethje yet. It was a week before. Which is not a very impressive stat to have, but it is what it is, okay? Yair Rodriguez is obviously coming off of a loss to the former champion, Alexander Volkanovski. Yes, he did kind of get dog-walked in that fight. I don't think... This may be controversial from me. I don't think Rodriguez is all that good. I think that he's flashy, and I think that he's amazing on the feet. He is amazing on the feet, but he's easy to take down, very susceptible to it. I believe Ortega took him down in their last fight. Let me double check that. He did. Before he got put in the armbar, he did manage to get the takedown. But Yair is also a crafty guy off of his back. Okay, he got that armbar on Ortega off his back. He submitted Josh Emmett off his back. He does have good submissions from that position. And he doesn't have a ton of pop in his hands. He has pop with his elbow. He has pop with his kicks, his knees. Things like that that's going to be what wins him this fight, I think. Ortega, he's fast, doesn't have a ton of pop, but hey, he knocked down Korean Zombie. You know what I mean? He's gotten TKOs in his career. He's gotten knockdown to submission wins in his career. So I actually don't think Ortega is a bad pick here. I just think that he's coming off of an injury. He's coming off of a layoff. Rodriguez has been active. He's looked good in all his fights. He looked really good against Max Holloway. That was like a 48-47, right? Max Holloway had to grapple with Yair, which I think goes to show you the level that Rodriguez is on the feet. But he's always there to be taken down, but he's not always there to be hit. Remember that, okay? Rodriguez is elite in the stand-up, and I think he's going to win this fight. I've seen people say decision. I've seen people say doctor stoppage. Guys, I think he might submit him off his back again. You know what I mean? Home crowd advantage. Craftier guy. More active. Fought for the belt. He was an interim champion. Should he have been? No. But he was. Okay. So I'm going to be picking Rodriguez to win this fight. And I think I want to go with a submission. Yo, nah, man. I'm gonna go TKO. I'm gonna go TKO. Not exactly a one-hitter quitter TKO, but an accumulation TKO. I'm not saying doctor stoppage or corner stoppage. I think because this is a 5-rounder as well. I think in the third round forward, Ortega will have just taken a lot of damage, and I think he's gonna wilt. I think Ortega's gonna wilt to all the damage, right? Ortega, hell of a chin. He's very tough. He's shown that in his title fights. But I think I'm not predicting like a Gaethje Ferguson stoppage. I'm predicting like a Lawler McDonald 2 stoppage, where it wasn't exactly a knockdown. It was just the damage. And if you guys remember, McDonald just couldn't take it. He fell back, and the fight was stopped. I can see something similar happening here. I think it will be competitive for the first 2 rounds, but I think that damage is just going to be too much. Yair should win this fight. Let's move on to the main event. Another rematch that ended in an injury, okay? But Brandon Moreno won the first fight, and he looked a lot better, and I think he's gotten a lot better. Whereas, I don't know if I can say the same for Royval. I think he's always got that knockout chance. He is a dog, okay? Moreno is a dog too. Moreno can finish you. Both guys coming off of a loss to the champion, being Pantoja. I predicted Pantoja to win both of those fights, but Brandon Moreno, I think he's going to win this fight, and I think it's going to be like a ground and pound TKO in the third round. I think that, their first fight, I think that was the trajectory it was heading on, but who has improved more since their first fight? Moreno. He's fought in nothing but title fights since that fight, right? Royval is coming off of a loss to the champion where he just kind of got controlled on the ground. I think Moreno is going to be able to do that same thing, and I think he's going to do it better. I think in the third round and in the fourth round, I don't think there will be too much damage dealt, but I think that by that time in the fight, Moreno will have much more control time, and I think he'll be able to TKO, ground and pound him out. It would be fun to see Royval get the win here, but for the division's sake, because let's be real, if Moreno wins this, he's probably going to fight Pantoja in Brazil. But it is what it is, man. I'm going with Moreno. He's got the home court advantage. He's got the experience, the championship level fights. So, Moreno. All right, guys, those are the pick for this fight night. Like I said, I know I don't usually make fight night predictions, but that's only because they're shitty in the Apex. They're shit Apex cards. This is a decent card with a crowd, so I am interested. So let's go over everything one more time, guys. The parlay, the Birds in the Trap parlay is Naimov, Dos Santos, Rodriguez, Puelles, fucking Chairez, Mendonça, Barcelos, Torres, Yasmin, Rosas, Zellhuber, Rodriguez, Moreno. Alright. Probably a lot of favorites, but hey, those are the picks, baby. Let me know your picks on this card below. I love to see if you guys disagree and your reasoning. If you're gonna disagree, tell me why. That's all I ask. You can disagree, but man, this is kind of off topic. This is a long ass video. My video on Whitaker and Costa, everyone was saying like, Costa, this will age like milk. First of all, I got that pick right. Fuck you. Second of all, if you're gonna disagree, at least tell me why. Alright, guys. Have a good one. Enjoy the card. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.